Now that we're done with the art live, I decided let's do some doodling actually, because these past few nights I've been struggling to fall asleep, and I thought it would be a nice idea if we do some coloring and some doodling. Let's see how this turns out. I think it will at least help pass the time for those of us that cannot sleep, and may have some fun. Maybe we'll be interacting in the chat. When I'm doodling, it's a lot easier to pay attention to the chat because I'm not working with paint or pastels. I think for this live stream, the idea is let's just doodle a little bit, do some coloring, see what happens. And if anybody feels like talking, I'm here. Let's have a few conversations so I know. How's that for a lake? A little bench, why not? Let's do a little bench. It would be like this. Nice. That's okay. It's good enough, and that's all we need. Maybe a little flower here and there. Just a couple nice little flowers before we start coloring what we are doing up here. Alright, I thought that for the mushroom I wanted to look magical. So for that we might be doing some purple, some pink, some green, some blue. Let's see how that turns out. The point here is to relax and pass the time. Let's have some fun, because if we cannot sleep, might as well have fun, right? I've been personally stressing about a few things, mainly holding myself to a very high standard and stressing because I'm not where I want to be in life. That's personally what I've been doing, and I think society can sometimes tell us that we have a time for everything, like certain milestones that we should have accomplished at certain, years. I think because my birthday is coming up, I'm definitely having one of those crises that just thinking about all that I have not done, all that I have done, what else I could do. So that's me, and I've not been able to sleep lately, so that's why I'm here later than my usual live streams, hoping to talk to some people, learn a thing or two. Sonic sent me a small smiley face, or a watching face, I'm not sure. Welcome, Sonic. But since I can't sleep, I thought might as well have fun. Why not? That sounds like the best option. And I think that these standards that we hold for ourselves, that we should have done certain things by a specific age, things like that, self-imposed. It's self-imposed. But I don't know. It seems to me that there's some truth to it. Maybe that's why we believe it. Maybe that's why I don't want to say it hurts, but it definitely weighs, you know, it weighs on people, and it weighs on me, especially lately as I approach my birthday and I'm thinking of all that I have done, all that I have not done. Can be too much sometimes, so I'm just here doing some silly doodling and seeing what comes out of it and hoping to relax a bit. Seeing who stops by, who's also awake at this random time of the week. For this, I'm gonna mix this green, this dark green, with a lighter color like yellow. I have this like highlighter yellow I'm going to use on top. Like that. That's nice. It's certainly a random time to live stream. Here we are. Let's change that green. Let's do a lighter green, if you can see that on camera. Just coloring our magic mushrooms right there. Our mushroom with flowers. I drew the mushroom first, and then I thought, that mushroom looks lonely. So I gave it some flowers, so it's not lonely. If you're watching, tell me, where are you watching from? I'm live from Colorado, and I am doodling and coloring because I cannot sleep. The past few nights, I've been overthinking. I didn't want to say overthinking. I've been thinking, you know, but maybe thinking too much, too deeply. How's that? Instead of overthinking, just thinking too deeply. Let's mix it up with a yellow or a lighter color and see how that turns out. I have this yellow here. Let's lay that on top of it. See how that looks. I think that's definitely better than the yellow by itself. Looks better. One thing about doing art streams is you have to keep an eye on everything. The camera, the chat. And NCKPWR1 said, watching from VA, can't sleep either. That's two of us. Why are you not sleeping? Do you mind sharing? Because I've been ranting and just saying how I am stressed. Which is so bad for you, but I've been stressed and that's why I can't sleep. But how about you? Is your sleep schedule just messed up? What is it for you? I want to do the sky blue, and then we'll do the bottom colors of the sky a different color, like yellow. Let's do orange. Sometimes I think when you can't sleep, if you're just killing time, that helps. I mean, if you're not going to sleep, why try? Sometimes we torture ourselves, I think, with trying to fall asleep. And CK said, yeah, sleep schedule is messed up. I stayed up late the last couple nights. Me too. That makes two of us then. And it's so hard. I wish I had like some advice or a trick to fix a sleeping schedule, but I've not found many things that are super helpful. I think that one of the craziest things that I do is I try not to take sleeping pills or melatonin. I don't know, I feel weird when I take them, but I sometimes just stay up all night, which is, if you think about it, it's kind of psychotic. Just stay up all night and then all day. And then if I get sleepy, I'll either drink coffee or take a nap. And then that's how I will fix my sleeping schedule. But I will tell you what, it doesn't always work. Not always. I'm just adding some orange here to the sky. And I think this bottom I will make it yellow. But since I put some orange on it, I will just lay it on very lightly. And then I will go in with that yellow and blend both of those together. See what comes out of it. Their little sky. There's something about being up at weird times of the night that, I don't know, I feel more energetic, more productive, almost like relaxed enough to do things, knowing that I will not be bothered or nothing will come up. In the daytime, I think there's too many possibilities of people needing things, things like that. NCK said, yeah, you can fix it that way, but if it sucks, I always feel super irritable that day if I don't sleep at all. Yeah, that makes sense, because I don't think we're supposed to, do that. For me, it's I will feel very distracted in the daytime. If I do that to fix my schedule, I will feel very, almost like forgetting things that I would never forget. If I'm doing something that I know needs A, B, and C, and I will forget C or I'll forget B, even though something that I've done a million times and I already know how to do it. But I think that's why sleep is so important. Your brain just needs it to operate correctly, but oh well, here we are. It's one of those nights. The least we can do is relax, talk to someone, I think. NCK said, reading can put me to sleep if I'm laying in bed. Looking at screens probably not helping at all. Yeah, that's right. A part of me knows that looking at screens at night does not help, but there's a part of me that says, if I'm laying in the dark and I cannot sleep, might as well pick up my screen and do something, or look at something, or talk to someone. That is maybe not the best mindset, but I would love to hear if anyone else has advice on fixing your sleep schedule, falling asleep when your sleep schedule is messed up. I'm sure people have all kinds of tricks and whatnot. I've heard some people recommend sleepy time tea, but I've never tried it myself, and sometimes I wonder if it will work, because I don't know. I just don't know how powerful it is, And if my entire sleeping schedule is flipped, I don't know how that will work. But I've heard people recommend it. And it's just weird. Sometimes, I know I'm not the only one, but I can have coffee and I will still sleep. It's almost like my sleeping schedule and my sleep has a life of its own. It's super weird. But yeah, the only thing I've found that helps is staying up an entire 24 hours, and then finally when 10 p.m., 9 p.m. hits, then I will go to sleep. But that's very hard to do. If I don't have commitments that I can't cancel, then I will take a very long nap or fall asleep at 5, then wake up at 10 or 12, maybe like even 1 or 3 a.m. It gets crazy. So might as well do some coloring, talk to people, dropping in the chat, talk to NCK, talk to anybody that feels like talking, and let anybody watch that feels like watching. Seems to be more productive than just tossing around in bed, to be honest. Might be wrong. And I bet doctors will disagree, but here we are. So why not just do some coloring? Let's get a blue color for that little lake that, I don't know if it looks like a lake, but it's supposed to be a lake. And let's leave a space in the middle to make it lighter in the middle. I think that's a good idea. Just some silly, mindless coloring. See what comes out of it. Let people watch and stop by. Let people scroll away. Talk to people that come by. Or talk to myself. I think there's many things that I can do instead of just toss around and then I think I will take an ultramarine. No, this is an aqua blue. So I'm gonna take an aqua blue for the middle. See if we can give the lake some more dimension. But this feels more productive than just laying in bed in the dark. Not sure how I will fix my sleeping schedule, but at least I know now I'm not alone. Let's do some orange for that trunk. It's a little unusual, but something I do often. Your mind will know it's a trunk. It doesn't need to be brown. Then I will take my little green here. Make those leaves bright and green. There's definitely something about being awake at night because you know that nobody needs you at that time. Unless you have young kids, which is not my case, but if you have young kids, that does not apply to you. But for me, not many responsibilities. NCK said, your art is nice, have a good night. Thank you, NCK. Have a great night as well. Take care. And I hope you can sleep. Let's do some color here and there. One trick I like to do to color inside the lines is to just outline first what I'm going to fill in with the color, and then I will go in with the color. I'll show you how. Like this. And it's especially harder because I have to keep my hand out of the frame. I find that if I put my hand in the frame for the live stream, I will get the camera to focus on my hand and everything else will be blurry. So I have to keep the pencil away and use my little tricks. I'm going to take a silver color, which is an unusual color, lay it on top of that blue. Let's see what comes out. Might be a stormy Make it look like a stormy day. Like this. Stormy gray sky. Now it looks like it's going to rain. Let's do some brown for the bench. And then perhaps some pink on those flowers. Make them different from our little mushroom at the top. I want to go over that mushroom. Let's make those colors more vibrant. I'm using very affordable colors, and that definitely changes how vibrant they are. So I'll add some red to the orange, perhaps some purple to the blue. See what comes out. Just making sure I can put my hand out of the frame so you guys can watch what I'm doing. Let's add some orange to the yellow here, as if it were blending together. So nice. So let me move on to another square. Let's sketch something else to color. Let's see what we can do here. Perhaps more mushrooms, more mountains, a waterfall would be a good idea. I think I will do a waterfall here. See how this turns out. This. Make sure I'm drawing some rocks here and there. There's always lots of rocks where there's waterfalls for some reason. I'm not sure how that works. Like this. And then we can do perhaps some stairs just randomly on that mountain for no reason, and it doesn't have to make sense. But this reminds me of that one hiking place that has a bunch of stairs in Colorado. This, some clouds, silly little clouds up there, more clouds, maybe a little bit of the sun peeking. And what else? Maybe a tree over here. Making it look like a hand. That's how we like our trees over here. And a little bench, why not? A little bench over here. Like this. For people to watch the water as it comes down the waterfall. Let's start with the water. And I told myself I will live stream doodling and coloring for 30 minutes, but I think it will be a little longer than that. We'll see. Time goes surprisingly fast when I'm just doodling and coloring, to be quite frank. And I will make the edges darker, just because, before I move on with my greens. Let's start now. I will pick any green that I have within my reach. This is an olive green. It's not a bad color for our mountains. But I think I will make each mountain a different color, and I will just blend those colors like this. Keep it light so that we can overlap the colors. So let's take another shade of green. This one we've been using with the other sketches. This one's not dark enough. Let's use this one. Perfect. Let's mix it with that olive green that we have. Let's lay it on first, next to the green, applying pressure, and then we will lightly blend that over the olive green. Like this. Nice. That looks magical, actually. Let's do the same on this side, the other mountain. And let's do the exact same thing where we just lightly lay on the color here, except at the top. We want the top to be bright and green. So we just lay it on lightly before we add on top of it our olive green to give it that magical mix of greens, like this. And since that's a darker shade, let's do the same over here. Let's move on to doing our sky. I want to be creative with that one. Let's use a turquoise color for that. It's an unusual sky, that's for sure. Since I love using orange for the trunk, let's do that again. An unusual trunk. Let's do some brown for our bench. And our stairs. For the stairs, I will make the steps a little darker than the rest of the stairs, so people know what this is. For the rocks, let's make some brown and some green and see how that looks. Nice. So let's do our sun. Let's mix some light yellow and some darker yellow. This is the dark, this is the light yellow. Let's do our dark yellow here. Let's do a bright green for the tree. Very light green. Let's choose what we're going to doodle next. Let's make another square here with our Sharpie. I'm trying to think what we can do. And I'm thinking let's do a path, like a trail, with a rock. Big, large rock. And then some little rocks. And these rocks will be very colorful to make them unique. And let's stick with our benches here. I really like drawing those. Let's do a little bench for imaginary people to sit on it. perhaps at the back we can do a lake. Just speaking. And the edge of a bush with some flowers on it. Like so. And our sky, of course, we want to have. This time, let's do a couple mountains. Make it look like Colorado. And the sun. Like this. Couple clouds. And that's a good doodle to color. So let's start with the yellow this time for the sun. And we'll want to, we have the option of doing olive green and bright green, so I will do olive green for the grass. And everything else I will do a brighter green. Let's blend it into the mountain. Just the bottom of the mountain will be olive green. The rest will be brighter green. It's lightly laid on, which is going to create that blend, that gradient. Like this. Let's get back to our normal green here. So now we can use the brighter green on top. Let's use the same bright green for the bush. Looks great. And then this time, let's make the sky a normal blue. I went over that line, but that's okay. I can just make it work with that cloud. mishaps that we have. Let's just make it work with what we have. Like this. A little mishap, but nobody can tell. Just like this, another mishap. Just make it work with what we have. Not big of a deal. Let's do some blue on this little lake here. And the edges, I'll do that like a turquoise color perhaps. Like this one. Like this. Let's do light brown for the path. I'll make it darker around the edges. Just because. Let's do here a creative rock. This is my favorite way of coloring rocks. Following circle motions like this. Let's do the same with these circle motions. Like this. And then we take any other color we want to add. In my case, let's do purple. Do the exact same thing. Circular motions. Like this. And then after this, let's add either a magenta or yellow or both. Let's see how that turns out. Let's do the yellow first. It looks like a marble rock. Marble stone would be a giant stone placed on this trail. Let's do hot pink on the edges, working into the marble. Like this. Just work it in there. Follow that pattern like this. And it almost looks like Easter eggs, actually. But they're supposed to be marble stones. And the more we blend, the more it looks like marble. Nice. So let's finish up. Just do our bench here and our flowers on the bush. And let's do some purple actually on those flowers, because we haven't done any purple flowers. Not today, at least. And those are our doodles for today. I will zoom out so you can see. That's all we have.